It often doesn't matter how much talent someone has. In Hollywood, countless actors have been rejected from roles due to their looks alone. In this video, I'm going to be cutting down the top 10 celebrities that were told they were too ugly for Hollywood, but with our ever-changing beauty standards, it's hard to believe that some of the celebs on this list would have ever been considered anything less than gorgeous. In fact, they're all pretty hot. Coming in at number 10 is Winona Ryder. Now, the actress has an impressively long resume from Beetlejuice, Heathers, and most recently Stranger Things, but a few years ago, Winona Ryder revealed in an interview with The Cut publication that when she first began acting, she was not what other young starlets her age were considered in the industry, that being of a beauty, but instead she was deemed quite unusual looking by managers and casting directors. In fact, Ryder's first 5 or 6 movie roles were not characters dubbed as attractive, which is why she believes she got them in the first place. Later on in the interview, Ryder describes one particular audition where the casting director flat out said that she should not be an actress because she just wasn't pretty enough. The director went on to say that Ryder should go back to wherever she came from and go to school because she didn't have it. Winona says that looking back at this instance, she thinks that the director was trying to do her a favor to save her from wasting time and keep her from some heartache down the road. She also says that she wasn't crushed by it and instead thought it was way cooler to be unique. Turns out that Winona's talents spoke for themselves and she's been able to pursue a pretty successful career, but even so, in no world is Winona Ryder ugly. Coming in at number 9 is Jessica Chastain. The Interstellar and Good Nurse actress admitted during a Telegraph interview in 2015 that people have only started calling her attractive in the past 5 years, and that before then she wasn't getting roles in movies or TV shows on account of her looks. Although incredibly hard to believe, the actress says that directors and agents would often advise her to dye her hair blonde, which she understood as being told to alter her appearance or to simply forfeit the only work available to her. Chastain refused this advice, which led to her becoming one of the most recognizable redheads in Hollywood. I think I speak for everyone when I say I'm glad Chastain didn't listen to her critics because her red hair is as beautiful as it is iconic. At number 8 is Henry Cavill, of Superman and The Witcher fame, and is currently who is widely considered the most handsome man alive, or at least a top runner for the title. However, this was not always the case, as Henry, akin to Jessica, has only been deemed attractive within the past few years. Cavill revealed that he had a hard time being considered attractive at casting calls due to what he thinks was his struggle with his weight. At 21 years old, Cavill auditioned for the role of James Bond, however the director told him that he was not slim enough for the part. After landing roles in the DC universe, fans are now campaigning for Cavill to be picked as the next Bond, though it's unfortunate that unrealistic body standards have robbed audiences of what could have been. However, Daniel Craig was picked over him on account of Cavill being too young. This guy just can't win. At number 7 is Reese Witherspoon. In the present day, Reese is one of the most recognizable actresses in Hollywood, probably the face you think of when you hear the word actress. Due to her work in Legally Blonde and Big Little Lies, Witherspoon has skyrocketed into mainstream success. However, she hasn't always been lucky in landing roles in the film industry. When Witherspoon first arrived in Los Angeles with dreams of hitting it big, she recalls that the only notes she received from casting directors were about how she wasn't tall, thin, or pretty enough to land a leading role. Her looks caused Reese to experience mass amounts of rejection in the casting rooms, at times not even being allowed to showcase her talent and audition for parts within the first few years of her career simply due to her appearance. Witherspoon tells the Daily Mail that, quote, "You have to be focused and tough because it takes a tenacious personality to deal with all the rejection in order to make it in show business." Thanks to her determination, audiences were able to watch her on the screen in movies such as Pleasantville, Cruel Intentions, and most notably aforementioned Legally Blonde, and is now revered by most as a natural beauty and girl next door type. Coming in at number 6 is Andrew Garfield. The musical theater man, really finding his footing in the 2021 movie musical Tick Tick Boom, didn't find his place in the industry for a while, similar to many others on this list. It took him a minute to find his genre. Andrew revealed that he felt utterly crushed after being denied the role of Prince Caspian in the Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian for not being attractive enough, losing the job to Ben Barnes. Nowadays, viewing Garfield as anything less than incredibly handsome is almost impossible. However, after the dust settled and the emotions weren't as fresh, the actor saw the whole situation as a blessing rather than a curse, since he went on to star in both Hacksaw Ridge and Spider-Man, avoiding the commercial failure that Narnia went on to become and attaching his name to the highly successful Marvel universe instead. At our halfway point, we've got Tom Hardy. The actor who landed roles in Venom, Inception, and Peaky Blinders was considered too ugly by casting directors to star alongside Keira Knightley in the 2005 film Pride and Prejudice. One of the execs during his audition reportedly told him that every woman in the world has an impression of who Darcy is, and Tom just simply was not it. But apparently Tom from Succession was. Tom from Succession is every woman's image of a sexy man, for sure. But before I watched Succession, I looked at Matthew McFadden and was like, yeah, honestly, that's totally Mr. Darcy. But now, dude, that's just an irritating husband. Anyway, Hardy said that his interaction in the casting room certainly certainly hurt his ego a little bit, but it did not dishearten him or discourage him from pursuing an acting career in the slightest. Instead, he dove deeper into his craft, no longer focusing on being a romantic lead, and rather he studied method acting and darker character arcs, which landed some of the most iconic movie roles to date. In order to be successful, you've first gotta understand your niche. At our number 4 spot is Mark Webber. Webber, best known for his role of Stephen Stills in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and most recently The Place of No Words, was previously thought to be booked to play the male lead in ABC's 2019 TV show Stumptown. But with very little notice, Mark found out from producers that his role would be subject to a recast. What made matters worse was that the only explanation Mark was given for this new creative decision was that the directors just simply wanted to take a different direction. While incredibly vague, Webber put the pieces together himself and openly speculated that he believed his dismissal was due to the fact that the crew did not deem him handsome enough to play the character. Webber took to Twitter opening up about the grief this has caused him, saying, quote, "The way this industry has contributed to women hating their bodies is just one of the many things I've abhorred for so long." He began relating to the struggles women are most popularly subjected to in the industry. He continued his statement saying that he knows a lot of men generally stay silent with their challenges in that arena in regards to people judging their appearances. Hollywood is tough. If you aren't cute enough for a casting director, it could cost you your house, and that's something everyone in that line of work just has to be prepared for. Webber also went on to share his curiosity in a bit of a tongue-in-cheek manner about how the announcement of his recast would be shared and if it will be completely honest. NBC themselves didn't say much, but many publications are calling the whole situation degrading and unfair to Mark. However awful the experience must have made Mark feel, Webber hopes that his own negative experience does not affect the writers and cast of the show and wishes them nothing but love. Coming in at number 3 is Kate Beckinsale. Kate was cast for the sole purpose of being a hot wife in Adam Sandler's 2006 film Click, so it's surprising that her looks and how good they are even a question. Kate's also been cast in films such as Underworld and Serendipity, a movie that's been on my watch list since I downloaded Letterboxd. Anyway, it seems like the only person in the world who thinks that Beckinsale isn't the pinnacle of beauty would be none other than director Michael Bay, who looks like if Owen Wilson was a member of Creed. Beckinsale recalls that Bay was immediately reluctant to hire her for his film Pearl Harbor because she, quote, wasn't blonde and her boobs weren't bigger than her head. Due to his antiquated ideals of what beauty is and what people actually want to see on screen, he had a lot of unnecessary worry about Kate's looks when she was eventually hired to play 3 different love interests. Kate says that Bay was allegedly very panicked about, quote, how on earth they were gonna make her attractive. Although not much work had to go into making that happen, Kate was apparently put on an intense workout regimen and diet in order to keep the role, not foreign to what is still frequently occurring in Hollywood. She's just gone ahead and made it public. This is actually most likely what happens to every actor in every movie. This is just the norm, but we just hear about it so infrequently that we think it's absurd. And our runner-up is Mindy Kaling. The uber successful comedian and writer made her talents extremely apparent when she was given both a starring and writing role on the TV show The Office at just 24 years old. After this gig though, Kaling set her sights on making her own show, which she found difficult for no fault of her own ability. According to Kaling, what happened with her show initially was that a now out of business network rejected to produce the Mindy Project because they considered her too unattractive to play herself. This absurd claim did not discourage Kaling, and she was able to see the success of the sitcom after it aired for 6 seasons on Fox and Hulu. At number 1 is Meryl Streep. With a list of accolades too long to relay and who most critics consider the greatest living actress, was actually rejected for a role in the 1975 King Kong remake. Streep describes this audition as the most embarrassing casting experience she's ever had to endure, as the director within earshot of her said, quote, what an ugly woman in Italian, obviously not expecting Meryl to understand. On the contrary, Streep shot an insult back at the director in Italian as well. Safe to say that Streep didn't land this role as it went to Jessica Lange instead, but honestly I think Streep definitely dodged a bullet. Now that has been our list of the top 10 celebrities that were told they were too ugly for Hollywood. Was their rejection justified or not? Let us know down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this Inform Overload video, and I will see you guys in the next one.